Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Chains Devstream. For the new faces here, I am Monoxide, and the disembodied voice that you'll be hearing is allegedly Drew. I have no proof of that, but
Greetings.
that's what they say at least. How are you doing tonight, Drew?
I'm doing pretty good. I also want to clarify that the disembodiment is probably more the flying Zamboni. We don't have any confirmation that he's anything more than a pile of limbs.
That's true. I mean, he at least has a mouth. I've heard him speak.
Could be an assistant.
Anyway, how's everybody
So what
doing
are we
tonight?
doing tonight?
So long story short, big beta testing event starting this weekend. I'm sure that most people in the chat already know that. So we're pretty much just going to be prepping for that. I've got a few little features that I'm going to be working on here tonight that I want to get in for the beta because I want them to be very thoroughly tested. Ontario doing great. Leningrad RB3 hype. Pony Bro dealing with sickness. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold too. I'm not feeling super great, but hopefully it won't be too much of an issue.
Gonna have to get down with the sickness.
Ooh, no response.
But yeah, guys, we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up. Like Monoxide said, we've got the big beta test going on this weekend. We're gonna do all the prep on Friday. A bunch of people have already come in early on the Discord server to get the tester role, and I'm sure a lot of them are getting Severed Chains set up in the meantime, get all that out of the way. We'll have more details for you on Friday, but in the meantime, you're gonna get some juicy behind-the-scenes stuff here.
Yeah, so one thing that I'm going to show just before we get started here is something that I just noticed when I fired up the stream. So a member of the community, Lloyd Sorrow, has graciously allowed me to use his remastered LOD soundtrack as background music for my streams. Um, and I just went to open up Media Player to fire up his music, which is what you're hearing right now. And this is what Media Player has assigned to every single one of his songs. I have no idea why.
Apparently, we're gonna have a Conan crossover mod. I get the same issue no matter what music player I'm using. It just seems to like it'll take art and plaster it over all of my songs.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been playing his music for like probably a year at this point, and just today is when it decided that this is how it's gonna be now.
I mean, this is a quick tangent. A long time ago, we had Windows Media Player had this feature for like um, fetching additional like information, additional metadata about
Hmm.
songs that you play. So it would try to fetch like the author, the album artist, or the cover art maybe. So that's been a feature for like decades, but I haven't usually seen it take effect because I'd usually have it off, and then now it's kind of doing it by itself.
Yeah, it is what it is. Just Microsoft things. All right, so brief update on what I've been working on. So, Severed Chain, since its inception, has used a library called GLFW, and that is what we use to show windows and handle user input from the keyboard and mouse. Um, Unfortunately, it is a very slow to update library. There's only a single person working on it, and she does not seem very interested in actually like communicating with people who use it, even though it's a very big project that lots and lots of people use. So, Brand new update to SDL just came out recently, SDL 3, and the LWJGL team has been working on Java bindings for that. So I've been working on basically converting all of our code over to SDL instead. It's a much, much more powerful library and has way more features. And the SDL team is very responsive, very helpful. They work well with the community, so it kind of seems like a no-brainer. Um, so I've been working on basically rewriting our user input code. Um, I figured, we're switching to a new library. We might as well do it. It's a good time to do that. Um, and in doing that, I'm moving us away from like the sort of like controller emulation that we have been doing up until this point. So before anybody who's familiar with Severed Chains, you'll have seen the controller keybinds screen or the keyboard keybinds screen, which allowed you to map like a button to your X button, the cross button on the controller, or circle, square, whatever. So you'd say like, my D key it maps to circle, whatever circle happens to be at any given time in the game. So I've been working on converting this into a completely new system where instead of having, like a circle button or whatever that just does whatever the circle button does in the game, instead we have all of the different actions split out. So, like instead of like just a generic like cross button, you'll have the menu confirm, menu back, etc., etc. And you'll be able to rebind almost all of these individually. So, if you want different controls in battle than you do in the menu or whatever, um, you'll be able to do that. And I've been working on updating the actual like icons that it displays for the individual buttons. So these are the defaults right now because I don't have a controller plugged in. Um, Let me find one here that'll change.
That's some beautiful
Um,
pixel art.
what?
I said that's some beautiful pixel art you made there.
Yeah, there's only so much I can do with 16 by 16 font. I might expand that a little bit for these icons and make them a little higher quality because some of them are a little bit difficult to actually read. But okay, so this is the icon for the generic start button. That's what it would look like on a 360 controller. Um, Now, if I turn on my Xbox One controller here, then you'll see that this is going to automatically switch over to the uh, not start button, but whatever they call the triple line button, menu button, or whatever on
They
the
call it
what was that?
a hamburger menu.
Yeah, sure, the hamburger menu, the hamburger button on the Xbox One controller. And if I was using a PlayStation controller, then you would see all of these like A, X, etc. Those would switch over to the equivalents on the PlayStation controller. And if we go into like this menu, for example, you'll see the last input that I used was keyboard. If I press a button on my controller instead, then it switches over to show the keybinds for that. And if I press the keyboard again, it'll switch back to show the keybinds for the keyboard. So this is just kind of like what are we doing in the back alley, Leningrad? Back alley input. I I remember we had a conversation about this the other night, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not remember what we were talking about. But yeah, anyway, so that'll hopefully be helpful for people who are like new to the game, new to Severed Chains. Right, back alley co-op. And yeah, so also as a side effect of these changes, there is no longer a controller setting in the Severed Chains controls. You'll notice there used to be a controller selection here. There no longer is. And the reason for that is whatever controller you press a button on, it'll automatically switch your input over to that controller. So you just kind of you don't have to worry about it anymore. You just pick up the controller and go. Also, Rumble support is back, which is very nice. Let's see.
Of course, I will be eager to test that out.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. If I start up a battle here.
And for those of you that are new, if you have any general questions or you're not sure what's going on, feel free to ask for help in the chat. Myself or other veterans of the community will help you answer your questions.
Yeah, so if I do an attack here, you're probably not going to be able to hear this, but if I attack, we get Rumble. Probably not picking up on the mic, but anyway.
I did a little bit.
All right. All right, you don't just have to trust me then. So anyway, I've been working on this for like 2 weeks. It's like a 6,000 line change, and I am really trying to get it done in time for the public test because I really want to get this tested by a lot of people just to make sure it works because it is a huge, huge fundamental change, and I don't like making those big changes to a absolutely critical system and then not actually having them get tested properly. Joseph, I have automatic additions turned on right now, so it just doesn't show the timing icons when you have automatic additions turned on. Um, oops, I pressed the print screen button. So if I go in here, gameplay options, automatic or edition mode, I could switch it back to normal. That would make them show. However, if you want a challenge, you can actually turn the edition markers off. So like if you wanted to try doing it completely blind, you totally can.
It's great for anyone who's already fully mastered editions and wants more challenge, obviously. So take it from me as someone who has mastered every edition thoroughly except for Rod Typhoon. I hate that one so much. Doing Haschel's Hex Hammer is complex enough with the visual guides. Doing it without, like, I wanted to demonstrate, like, hey, this is what it looks like if I'm like getting countered and I'm proving to you it's not Ultimate War God, but I'm actually doing the inputs myself. I had to record that GIF like 15 times before I got it successfully.
Miranda's #1 super fan. Thank you for the $50 donation.
Ooh.
That means a lot. Different vibration patterns for different editions. It does vibrate like every time you hit it. So I mean, technically, it is a different pattern.
Yeah, there's default vibration already. I guess. Well, there's a zany question: is vibration going to be part of the modding API?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I mean, I guess it would be natural because we're eventually going to have way down the road like story mods and things. So if somebody mods in like an earthquake or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like a modder can just call the method that makes the controller rumble, right?
Perfect.
It's kind of funny. I actually don't find Rod Typhoon that bad.
I'm going to have to see you do it like 10 times and see how many times you actually get it.
Heard rumors of a
Because
Miranda, but never found out the truth.
to be specific, we're not talking about Albert because Albert's doesn't get countered. He cheats. It never gets countered. But Lavitz's version, he's got two counter points. The second strike, which is easier, and then the third strike, which there's like no advance warning. So there's a lot of like I'll preemptively try to hit circle, but there
Hmm.
was no counter half the time. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on the topic of automatic additions, we also have automatic Dragoon additions. You can change how quickly you want the battle transition to happen. I usually play on fast. You can switch it to instant if you want, but that's a little bit jarring because just 1 minute you're walking around on the map, and the next minute you're in battle. We have button mash modes for attack items. Mash is the default. You have to press the button quickly. Button mashing. You can switch it to hold, which means you just hold the button down for as long as you want to, or automatic, which will always end up with a 100% maxed out attack item. Lots of other difficulty options. You can turn status effects off. What else do we have? We've got options for tuning gameplay. You can do unlock party, which allows you, as it says here, to remove Dart from the party or play with one or two characters. We have secondary character experience gain. By default, your secondary characters only get 50% of the experience. If you'd like, you can adjust this up to 100 or even down to 0 if you only want your active party to get experience. We've got Save Anywhere and a brand new feature that I just added last night. So run by default. This makes it so when you're moving, so I'm not holding the run button right now. Kind of hard to tell while I'm in these cramped areas here. I'm not holding the run button right now, but I am running. Now, if I hold the run button, it makes me walk. So I figure, 99% of the time when people are playing this game, they're running from place A to place B. Um,
Yeah.
and just having to hold the button down all the time is kind of annoying. So we might as well default it to always running and then make it so you hold the button to walk. However, if you don't like that and you want to walk by default, all you have to do is just turn off this option. Any of these changes that we make that change the gameplay in any way, we always add options to toggle them. Because we know that there's always going to be somebody who just doesn't want that, right? So
It's too
we'll
bad we can't run across that wooden beam in the barn next to Lavitz's house.
have a few less QuickTime events on there.
Oh my god.
That one QuickTime event at the very end when you are clearly already at the edge, the other
Yeah,
side on the platform, always gets me. I can't
the
tell you
devs
how many
knew.
times. Like I know that that is gonna happen, and it still happens every
Yep.
time. We've also got a bunch of graphics options. You can choose your resolution. Leaving it on native will just make it render at whatever size your current window is. So if your window is smaller, it'll render at a smaller resolution. If it's bigger, it'll render at a bigger resolution. And then we've got all kinds of different settings here. 240p is the original if you like it to be crunchy.
Crispy.
Nice and crispy. Kind of hard to tell the difference on submaps because the backgrounds are pretty low res anyway. But yeah, you can tell the difference a little more on the world map, and especially in battle. We go into battle right now, you'll really see the difference based on what we were seeing before. Oh, also just for fun, I added real analog input to the world map. Yeah, 240p was the original. That's what it's rendering at right now. Now it does still look a lot better in Severed Chains, because we use much higher quality animation code.
Yeah, this is 240 plus.
Yeah, pretty much. Plus, we've got widescreen here as well, so that makes a difference too. But yeah, we use much higher resolution animation code, so there's less jiggling that the PlayStation is kind of known for.
Even just that idle animation of the mouse, like if you look at retail footage of that, I mean, any of the animations, they're pretty choppy. But even at the stock 12 to 20 FPS of battle, SC just has it way smoother.
Yeah, that mouse in retail, its ears don't move; they just teleport back and forth. Anyway, let's set this back to native.
In a way, Corey, I feel like that was an unintentional time capsule left by the devs. Like their stuff was way beyond what the PS1 was ready for, but they
Mm.
got it on the disc, and now it's like we're opening a time capsule in a way, seeing that full restored asset quality for the first time.
Yeah, I mean it's true. Like everything that you're seeing here, these are all original graphics. We have not actually replaced any of these graphics. No models, no textures, anything. Um, the assets that the LOD team used and included on the disc are actually way higher quality than what the PS1 was capable of producing or reproducing, I should say. So we're very lucky in that sense. Like if I go into free cam here, I have changed the free cam controls and I need to remember what they are. So yeah, like this is like, for a game that came out in 99, like the assets look pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty solid. It's much better than most of its contemporaries are. That's for sure.
Now we just gotta get in those what is it, the individual fingers from the Helena cutscene.
This guy's got individual fingers.
God, even a random mouse enemy has more detail than our main party.
I mean the in battle stuff's pretty good, but the
Yeah.
submap models are not fantastic.
I think the number one thing players will notice in general is if they're playing on emulation or, well, whether it's the emulation or original hardware, PS3, 4, 5, and then playing on SC, is the lack of, what's it called? The wobble? The wobble of all the individual objects on the models.
Yeah, the wobble is pretty rough, and the PS1 animation is just very it's very imprecise. Um, the PS1 doesn't support decimal numbers, so you can't have like 1.5, just 1 or 2. Um, which means that, it's really low resolution animations and sort of because of that, a lot of the animations sort of like jump and jerk around. Um, you can see it really bad uh, in Rose's battle model. I think I've got a recording of it actually. Um, let's see. I'm not sure that I do, but I mean, I've got the old version of Severed Chains um, right here, so I can just demonstrate. So this is the previous version of Severed Chains. So right off the bat, you can see a world map is crunchy as hell, and 20 frames per second. There's an inexplicable hole in the world here. This is not a Severed Chains issue. That's it there in retail. And for some reason, it works fine in the new version. Still haven't figured out what the deal is with that, but I don't know. But yes, very, very crunchy.
You get to surprise someone in chat who is asking if SC uses Python or C, and the answer is actually Java.
Yeah, it's all Java. So yeah, if I crank up the render scale here, then you can see that like all of the parts of the models just kind of like jiggle around like jello. Like take a look at like Rose's legs
Like
and
stop motion Jello.
yeah, any part of Miranda really. It's all just wiggling.
Yeah, Miranda's right arm is the worst.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And you can see what I was saying about the mouse's ears. They just kind of jump.
That is so like it's more I guess I would say like it's more of what you would see at that actual retail FPS. Like the say with severed chains, even though it's running at 12 to 20, it looks a lot more smooth than that. Whereas in emulation and original hardware, it actually like looks its frames.
It's not just that. You know, like this is actually happening just because of the low precision. Um, and we smooth that all out by just, you know, removing that limitation, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it doesn't look nearly as bad at the original resolution because the pixelated nature of the image sort of masks it a lot. Um, so, you know, it really didn't matter when you were playing on PS1 hardware on a CRT television. It looked fine, like totally fine. Um, but unfortunately, we are dragging this game kicking and screaming into the 21st century. So we got to fix these little quirks that only apply to running it on modern hardware. Yeah, it's a really really big difference in quality. Might as well bring some other characters in here.
I'll be back in a little bit.
All right, have fun. Yeah, and we can compare that here. You can see no more jiggling in Kongol's shoulders or head. Rose is nice and smooth. It makes a very big difference even though battle is still running at 20 frames per second. Yeah, no more Jello. It's definitely endearing seeing the old graphics, but you know, it's very nice having things much more smoothed out. And again, these are all retail assets. We have not actually changed any of the models or textures or anything. And you can still play at lower resolutions if that's your jam, and still enjoy like the much better animation qualities and stuff. Again, doesn't really make too much of a difference on submaps because they use the pre-rendered backgrounds, but makes a much bigger difference in battle and stuff. All right. So I think I'm going to get into some actual work here. Oh, there's still a few things that I have left to finish up before I can get this ready for the testers. Just a couple of minor things. We need to get full screen working again. Because again, I'm converting everything over to SDL. Thanks, Schwabe. Good to see you. It has been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. Another issue that I want to take a look into today is we have an issue when Steam is running. Steam has this thing called Steam Input. Basically, what Steam Input does is it takes your controller input and it translates it into keyboard input. So it does that for what it thinks are games that wouldn't otherwise support a controller. And it also allows you to use parts of your computer with a controller that you wouldn't normally be able to. Now that causes an issue in Severed Chains. If Steam input is enabled, when you press any button on your controller, it will get repeated as keyboard input. Um, and then you end up with double dip input. You end up like skipping things in the menu or failing all your additions because it's pressing a bunch of extra buttons and things like that. I got some intel from an LWJGL person talking about ways that that can be mitigated. So I'm going to actually give that a try. Schwabe, thanks for the $2. Appreciate it. So first off, I need to fire up Steam, and I'm gonna just blank out my screen temporarily because I don't want a bunch of friend requests. No offense. We will be back in 1 second. All right, there we go. So I just need to find the Steam input settings. I have no idea where those settings are. Wish they had in here. No, that's not it. Aha, Steam input. Okay, so first order of business is to test and see if that actually made a difference. Yeah, okay. So you can see right now I'm pressing the D-pad once and it's jumping over the options and down to links. So that means that it is enabled. Sorry, Ninchi. Maybe you've been around for a while. Alright, so let's restart Sever Chains and drop a breakpoint in here. This is where we are loading the gamepads. Now, I don't think that it comes up as a gamepad. It looks like we are just getting one. Okay. So I'm wondering if maybe it comes up as a virtual keyboard. So with SDL, I think we should be able to get all of the keyboard devices. I've basically been living in the SDL documentation for like the past week and a half. I mean, if you want to spam gift me games, then, you know, maybe we can talk. Maybe we can talk. You might be able to buy my friendship. Hey, what's up? All right, so we're gonna add a little bit of code here. We have some plans for looking into integrating with retro achievements. We don't have any hard plans. We don't have like a timeline for that or anything. Possibly sometime in RB4. It's the kind of thing that, we haven't even looked into it yet. So it's on our radar, I should say. Okay, so this gives us an int buffer. So I'm thinking it might be a keyboard device that we're looking at here. I think we need to free this. Yeah, we do. Okay, so loop over till we get to the limit. And then that's going to give us yeah, the keyboard device ID. Then we'll need to actually do something with that. Let's see here. So we can get the name. Yeah, it looks like that's just about it. I mean, that might give us something interesting. Let's just use this. That just gives us back a string. Let's just take a look and see what we get here. So first one is keyboard. Okay, we do have multiple devices here. Keyboard. Standard PS2 keyboard and Logitech USB receiver. Okay, so standard PS2 keyboard and Logitech USB receiver makes sense. Because I have a Logitech USB receiver, and I assume that the laptop keyboard just comes up as standard PS2 keyboard. But what are the other ones? Let's try disabling Steam input and see if that makes any of those go away. So, we still have 4. I wonder if that Steam device still exists. And see if the input doubling is still happening. It is, so maybe I have to actually settings for it to take effect. Steam input is in fact disabled. We are keeping the original graphics. However, by increasing the resolution of the game and increasing the precision of the rendering code and the animation code, it looks much, much better. Okay, we're still seeing these 4 devices. And are we still getting input doubling? We are. Huh. So even with Steam input disabled, just having Steam open is causing this. Hmm. All right, let's see which device is actually giving us the input. So I think if we look at the key event, yeah, okay. Key dot which. So it's device 0, which is just showing up as keyboard. Now, I mean, like, we could just ignore any device that's just called keyboard, but that seems a little bit sketchy. Like, I don't know if we're going to, end up accidentally ignoring someone's real keyboard. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Yeah, so there is also a mod in the works, the Upscale project, that's being developed by Zycronix, who may or may not still be in the chat, and the Flying Zamboni. Both of them are also Severed Chains developers, so they are currently helping me work on Severed Chains. And the Upscale project is mostly on hold at the moment. Oh, there's Zycronix. Um, but once we finish getting this release out the door, they are planning on going back to that, and we should see the Upscale project come out sometime after Severed Chains 3 is finished. Yeah, so basically what they're doing is they're taking all of the 2D backgrounds that are used on submaps, places like towns, cities, um, caves, whatnot, and they're upscaling those so they look better. They'll also be doing things like character models and whatnot, but I think the star of the show is definitely the pre-rendered backgrounds, since they're the things that look the best. Oh, look, it's Strider. Hi, Strider. Come on. Oh, Strider finally came to say hi. Say hi to everybody. Oh, time to be a baby. There you go. This is Strider. He's a big baby. A very big baby. An enormous baby. And he knows it. Hi, buddy. We also have two others, but they're not quite as social. Strider is a very drooly cat. The second that he starts purring, it just starts pouring out of him. Which is why I hold him like this, because then it can't come out of him, because he's upside down. Except when he does this. Alright, buddy. You can sit on me if you're good. You gotta lay down, though. No thoughts, only drool. Only drool. He is the biggest baby that has ever existed. Alright. Yeah, Ninshi, I can definitely do that. I know it would work on my end, but what I'm concerned for is that maybe someone else has a keyboard that just calls itself keyboard. And then we end up with somebody complaining about input not working. Hey buddy, you gotta lay down. Oh, you had a drooler too? He's so cute and he's so affectionate, like aggressively affectionate, but he is so wet all the time. He just drools all over you, don't you? Don't you? Yeah. He just loves everybody so much that he can't keep it in. That's a problem. Alright, buddy, you're in my way. Alright, we have to be able to tell if this is a virtual device. I'm not seeing anything interesting here. Hi, buddy. Hi. Yes, hello. Hi. How you doing? How's it going? Hi, buddy. This is what he does. He just stands on your lap and leans up against you. Ah, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. You have any other cats? You think you'll ever get any more? Yeah, we've got three. Strider and Freya are both a little over 10 years old. Freya's a year older than Strider. And then we've got a small orange gremlin with a brain the size of a peanut. And she's probably about 5. You want a raccoon or an opossum? I, you know what? Having a raccoon would be pretty sweet. Virtual input creates its own in-system virtual keyboard that is hidden from other devices to prevent interference. So we've got this API here, human interface devices HID. I wonder if this would yield anything interesting. Oh my god, Strider. Hello. Hello. Hi. 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 Hi, buddy. Hi. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Are you cleaning your face by licking me and then rubbing your face on it? Oh my god, Strider. Oh my god. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean when I say he's aggressively affectionate? We've also got. I think it's just time to do a little bit of digging here. Take a look at the. All right, buddy, buddy, you gotta lay down. You gotta lay down, buddy. Come on. Trick Steam into thinking the game is a game rather than a program. You got any suggestions for doing that? Set app metadata. Is this anything interesting? Hmm. Yeah, that doesn't look interesting. I mean, even if it did, that doesn't solve our issue of this being a problem for random users. Right now we're saying, turn off Steam to everybody. If that was the case, then we would just be, it would be the same situation, but we'd just be telling them, run Steam as admin instead. Um, so we definitely want to figure out an actual solution for this. Dun, dun, dun. What do we have here? There's the joystick API. That should just be for controllers. However, I think we will take a look at that just in case. What is in main? Probably nothing too interesting. What are these? That's just that stuff. I don't think these are anything interesting. We aren't using any of this code. What's in miscellaneous? Open URL. Huh, that could be interesting. I'm using a separate library right now. Bruh. 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 Yes, Strider, you're very cute. You're very, very cute. I'm using a separate library for opening URLs right now. If SDL can just do that cross-platform, then I will probably switch to that instead. Steam Deck Virtual Keyboard uses product ID, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they use the same across Steam inputs. That is interesting. On Linux, it required specific long coding, but I was converting my Windows non-game games to Linux. Gotcha, gotcha. All right. Da, 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 da.
I have returned.
What's up, Drew?
Did I miss anything crazy?
Not really. We are brainstorming ways to fix the Steam input issue. We have found that Steam registers virtual keyboards. So if we can get the keyboard identifier, then I think we might be able to just ignore any input from those devices. However, I am unfortunately not really seeing a way to get the identifier. I was talking to somebody in the LWJGL Discord about this. Let's see if they have said anything else. Blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to filter out the virtual devices yourself. You can do it by gamepad name. Well, it's not a gamepad. That's not entirely true. But we are seeing that input is just, it's being sent to us via a keyboard that is just called keyboard. Let's see. Does your controller input fire off the key event, or does it have its own handler? So there's a couple of different ways that input's handled. So this new system that I'm working on with the SDL update. So we have what are called input actions. So that'll be something like menu confirm, and then menu confirm has various keybinds. One thing that I thought of for for fixing this issue would be sort of a brute force way. And it would be to basically check if an action was already pressed that frame, and if it was, ignore any subsequent presses of that action. So, for example, if we got a controller input for like the menu confirm action, and then Steam repeats that as a keyboard input in the same frame, then we would just ignore what was repeated. However, the ideal way would just be to ignore all input if we could determine that it is a Steam keyboard. You can add SC as a non-Steam game. You just have to do a little workaround where you add a different game and then switch it over to Severed Chains launch file. Yeah, it's really looking like the only things that we get here is just this get keyboard name. That's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Now I'm wondering if this would give us anything interesting. Yeah, spells use polling once per frame, so that would still be fine. Yeah, this is very, very low level. I'm not sure if we would have a way to map this back to an SDL keyboard device. That's super low level. What is key type? Let's take a look at that. Also keyboard ID. I don't think this is going to give us anything interesting, but we might as well look anyway. Yeah, nothing. That's going to be under events, isn't it? Do. Keyboard event. Let's see what we got here. Oh, 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 look at this. The keyboard instance ID or 0 if unknown or virtual. So we just ignore anything with a keyboard ID of 0 and we should be good to go.
Hopefully.
If key dot that was the which bar. Yeah. So yeah, we should just be able to do that. Text is not really important. I think this is the only event where we really need to worry about this. Let's hot swap here. Resume execution. I was like, oh man, now my controller input's not working at all, but it was because my controller was off. Okay, so we're not getting doubled input. However, my keyboard is not working. My keyboard is not working at all.
I should have crossed my fingers. It's my fault. Sorry.
Damn it, Drew. Man. So this is an input for my actual keyboard, and it's 0. All of my hopes and dreams dashed. Yeah, see, the issue is we don't want to have the users do anything in Steam. We just want it to work, right? Because we get a lot of support requests that are like, my input's not working. I can't hit additions. I'm getting double inputs in the game, and at the moment our solution is either disable Steam input or shut Steam off. And we want it to just work. We don't want the users to have to change something on their system just for Severed Chains to work right. Many people just want to have Steam running. Man, I was really hoping that was gonna work. Now, why is my keyboard supposedly unknown? I'm gonna try shutting Steam down. And we're gonna see if my keyboard still comes up as unknown. We are still seeing those 4 keyboards, 2 of which are just called keyboard. Even with Steam not running, I'm assuming those devices are still there. So this is me pressing the enter key. And yeah, it's 0. Damn. I was very hopeful about that. That's unfortunate. Can we do anything about this? No, we can't. Okay. In the SDL initialization, do we have any init keyboard flags? Audio, video, joystick, haptic, gamepad, event, sensor, camera. No. Yeah, nothing about keyboards in here. And unfortunately, this means we can't even um, like see which keyboard it's coming from, because it's just always showing up as 0. Now, why would that be? I might just have to talk to the SDL devs about that. SDL keyboard. Let's just look this up. Keyboard event which. Yeah, I wish it was as easy as telling it to just ignore Steam. What if we look up SDL keyboard input Steam? SDL and Steam input. Yeah, this is not useful. Completely unrelated. Steam mess SDL controller input. Alright. We have no responses. Wow. Cool. Okay. Yep, it worked. Thank you very much. Comment deleted by user. Uh,
Aren't rabbit holes the best?
Chat, I've been looking for ways to solve this for literally years now.
Story of my life. And it's proof that this kind of stuff is universal, whether you're coding or doing archivism or trying to do anything else. There's always a rabbit hole somewhere.
It's true. Okay, back to our previous query. And keyboard ID always 0. Yeah, if only. If only. Device driver beyond those, we can no longer tell where the keystroke came from. Maybe this is just not something that's possible on Windows, which would be unsurprising and also very dumb. SDL is blind to this, even though it was promised to be implemented in 1.3 after Windows XP came out. Glad we're talking about Windows XP right now. Very time period appropriate for Legend of Dragoon, Windows XP coming out in 2001, I think. It may or may not be an issue in Linux, but we may or may not be able to detect it if it is an issue. Like the issue that we're having right now is that Um, so the key event that STL gives us basically saying like, hey, a key has been pressed. It has a keyboard ID variable. And it says the keyboard instance ID or 0 if unknown or virtual. So virtual is what we cared about here. Because the Steam input keyboard is a virtual keyboard. However, all of my keyboards are just coming up as unknown anyway, so they're 0. Um, which means we still just can't tell the difference, which is very unfortunate. No, see, that's a very good question, Ontario. When I enumerate the keyboard devices, I am seeing 4 devices, even though I only have 2 connected. So I'm assuming that, at least one of those is the Steam keyboard. Um, but unfortunately, that's not really helping because when we get the keyboard event, it's not actually telling us which keyboard it's coming from. Like both the Steam keyboard and my keyboard are coming up as ID 0. So I can't tell the difference between them. SDL now supports multiple mouse and keyboard inputs in SDL3, which is what we're looking at. And of course, they're showing exactly what we're looking at here and exactly what is not working.
Is it time for the table flip?
We're getting there, Drew. We're getting there.
Okay.
In the current main branch, the STL keyword branch struct does not include a which parameter. That is clearly old because it does. I'm looking at it. One of the many new features in SDL3. Yep. Tested multi-keyboard feature with the Wooden Eye demo, but the demo only works correctly on the Windows build. It couldn't tell keyboard. Okay, come on now. I'm on Windows and it's not working. Chat, we're switching to Linux. We're trying this on Linux. All right. Um, I don't have IntelliJ installed, so I'm just going to compile for Linux, and we're going to log keyboard ID key dot which. All right. Yes, John, we could do that, but I want to avoid that if possible. I would like to just have it seamlessly switch back and forth. And I'm fairly confident I do have a solution for this, but it's not an ideal solution. And if we can just detect that it's a virtual keyboard and ignore it, like that would be the ideal situation. Okay, so we're getting keyboard 0. You relaunch Steam. Waiting for a sec. I don't know if to affect anything here because this is running in Ubuntu right now, but we're gonna see. Okay, yeah, Steam is not affecting anything, which is. What is your? I'll try. So no dice in Ubuntu either. Come on now, the plot thickens. Like this guy is saying it works in Windows. We're clearly seeing it not working in Windows. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, I think I have desktop audio disabled when I have the logo up. So I just realized that the music has stopped, and probably stopped a long time ago. Let's get some background noise going on here.
Hey,
SDL
do you think
add
if you play
keyboard.
the music really loud, the thing will submit and do what you want?
Ha ha ha. That'd be nice. What is this SDL add keyboard method? Is that only SDL2? I'm not seeing anything here. Let's check. This must be an SDL2 method. Right, is this SDL2? How did SDL get keyboard name? March 2024. SDL3. Oh, I'm aware, Pony Bro. I have tinnitus. Wait, this is... Ah. Where does SDL get... SDL add keyboard. Okay. Is this maybe an internal function that is not exposed? These must just be internal methods, right? Let's see here.
Friendly reminder that if you are liking what you see or you're interested in more Severed Chains development stuff or other related Legend of Dragoon community things, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also tick the bell if you want all of Z updates, and you can also like this video to help us get some traction in the algorithm.
And if you really like it, there's a donation link in the bottom left-hand corner. Wink, wink. Although I'm not sure why you would like watching me sit here and Google things. Y'all are
I
weird.
feel like we need to assign interest levels to Dragoon levels. Like if you like us a little bit, D level 1. If you like us, D level 2. If you really like us, D level 3.
Garrett, just DM it to me. Echo, I'm working on straightening out the controller input code.
An ugly business, to be sure.
Yeah, we're going through things that people are saying should work that aren't working, and it's just very annoying. Very, very annoying. Basically, we're trying to make it so that Steam input does not cause double inputs in Severed Chains. Because right now, if you have Steam running and Steam input is active, Steam will take your controller input and relay that as keyboard input. And that makes it so, like, let's say I press down on my D-pad. Severed Chains will see that you press down on the D-pad, but then it will also see that Steam has turned that into the down arrow key on your keyboard. So you will go down two things in the menu instead of one. It also causes issues with doing additions and all kinds of stuff.
Hey, technically, wouldn't it make it easier for doing item magic?
No, because it is done with polling.
Ah, darn. No cheating there.
Alright, let's see what Garrett's got for me. To ignore virtual keyboard inputs from Steam keys in Java application, filter out synthetic key events. Depends on your application, but generally key listener, key event dispatcher. Okay, yeah, that's AWT, which is a different platform.
My thought was going to be if you've filtered for recent results, but you're already looking at something from this January.
Yeah, no, like this is SDL3 stuff. You can see they're using SDL3 headers. All right, chat. We're doing it the hacky way, and we're gonna see if it works. All right. So, first off, I want to see what order the input comes in. So we're going to fire up the game. I've got Steam running. We're just going to verify that we're getting duplicated inputs. We are not getting duplicated inputs because why would it be consistent? Steam settings. Controller. I have enabled Steam input and it's still not happening. Restart Severed Chains.
See, now that you're onto it, it's hiding under the bed or something.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh. It's because I have it. I have this code in here still. So we're just ignoring all keyboard input. What? Come on! Alright. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now, Steam? Oh my god, I just opened up Windows Media Player again and saw the wall of half-naked men. For anybody who missed this at the start of the stream, the music we're listening to is Lloyd Sorrow's covers of the entire Legend of Dragoon soundtrack, pretty much. And for some reason, Windows Media Player has decided that this is now the thumbnail for every single one of his songs, so that's a thing.
We have to do a Conan thing now, like a mod, and it'll even have Arnold's likeness.
Come on, Steam. What are you doing? What are you doing to me?
Hasn't this been consistent up until right now?
Yep, sure has. Did I restart Severed Chains since doing that?
Oh, now people in chat are saying Arnold as Kongal. That's a mod idea. Wow.
You're kidding me? It's just working now. I'm not getting...
Did you leave some other attempted solution in the code?
No changes.
Mm.
I'm just not getting the Steam input now.
I'm out of ideas.
Steam, come on. I 100% have Steam input enabled. 100%.
Well, you're missing 8%. You got to get all 108%.
Okay, I'm restarting Steam again. 1 second, chat. Blanking screen.
I need to make you a technical difficulties slide.
Okay, so I just needed to restart Steam apparently. Okay, so I want to see what order these events come in at. So, if I put a breakpoint there, and I put a breakpoint in the button down event, and then I press a button, okay, I do get the gamepad first, and then the key. So here... Oh, is this a key up event, maybe? What event type are we looking at here? 301, which is... Okay, so it's sending a key down and a key up. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. In the keyboard event, we are... What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We are going to... I think we're going to say that if the binding no, we want the action state. So let's grab the action state here. Dot is press then we're just going to skip over this. I'm gonna do a just pressed here. That'll say it was literally pressed to this frame. Really? I guess we need to do the same thing for the this as well. All right. We've got key codes and scan codes that we check for. Okay, well, that seems to have done it. We are no longer getting double input. However, that's only going to apply to actions. No, it is. It is working in the text box as well. Interestingly, pressing B there. I did a space? What's going on there? Okay. Let's take a look at the text box code. That, I think, is a separate issue. We are debugging live. I think we're getting keyboard input here. Let's see what it's giving us when we press B. It's giving us, okay, it is giving us space. B is mapped to the space button. That is weird. I don't know what the Steam people were thinking. However, we do need to do a little something here. So instead of looking for escape and return, this should be an input action. Input action menu, confirm. Action menu back. We do that. Now that is still giving us a space in the box because of Steam. How do we get around that? What happens if we press A? Okay, A is working. Why the heck is... Okay, what if we just take a shotgun approach here? What if we just take a shotgun approach?
More of a sniper rifle person, but I'll give it a try.
So I'm gonna say Boolean gamepad button pressed. And in the keyboard handler, if gamepad button pressed, we just do not process keyboard input. We just completely disable it.
Like for each individual press?
Yeah, so this will be one invocation of the input ticker. So this would only be for the exact current frame. We still got a space there. Huh. Okay. So I press B. We get gamepad button pressed equals true. And then we skip that. I'm gonna jump back here and drop a breakpoint in character press. I guess it would be. Oh. That is a separate event. We also have character press, which is for typing, and that's what we're actually getting here. We're getting text input. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Okay. So we remove the space, we press B, and we did not get any extra input. We are getting extra input here. Only on the thumbstick. Okay, so I guess we also need to handle... We also need to set this on the axis input event as well. However, that's going to cause issues with drift, so we can just use this in here. This only activates on 30% inner dead zone, so that'll avoid any issues with stick drift. Okay. No longer getting double input. My keyboard input's still working. I can still type in here.
Hopefully you can call it done for now.
I'm getting random double inputs. Yeah, so I think what's happening here is that it's actually happening across 2 frames. Steam is like a little bit slow on actually like relaying the keyboard input. So the controller input's happening on 1 frame and the keyboard input's happening on the next frame. Which is not fixable with this method. So the problem with ignoring non-Steam input when Steam is active is that then we only get controller input converted into keyboard input. So we completely lose analog input. And that's not good. Hey, Strider. How you doing? You woke up because I moved. You're very welcome, Firesynth. Welcome to the stream.
That's a rad username.
Drew, I hate Steam. Steam sucks.
I believe it. I was saying in another chat, I feel like there was sort of it probably seemed like a natural or somewhat necessary way that Valve devs did the whole Steam input thing. Messy landscape, maybe, I don't know, but like they're focused on their app, and there's going to be blind spots of not realizing how that app like affects non-Steam stuff. Like if it was a Steam monopoly, fine, but we're not in a Steam monopoly. We do other things.
I think that I am literally just playing one song over again right now. Let's
Do you not
add.
have all the songs?
No, I do. It's just only playing one of them. I'm gonna add a couple more to the playlist here.
Yeah, we need a song that actually matches the mood of the Steam troubles.
Rage.
Tension, uneasy state.
How do I save a playlist?
uh, Sword, basically, it's going to be very similar to today's dev build if you were to grab it today, but we're not doing the testing stuff officially until Saturday. So Friday and 2 days from now, we'll be preparing everyone, and then when testing starts on Saturday, it's going to be a different build.
It's gonna be what I'm working on right now if I can get the stupid thing to work. Recommendation: if Steam exists, delete Steam.
I just know that Source Speed Talks is just chomping at the bit to have any more opportunities to do Severed Chains related things on his Lenovo ThinkPad T480.
It's true.
That's how is that not like a meme in our community yet?
Ryder, gotta lay down. Come on. Oh my god, you're so wet. Oh my god, you're so wet. Lay down, buddy. Lay down.
Hopefully everybody has the context for that phrasing.
Ryder. Ryder, I swear to god, you better lay down. There you go. Alright, there you go. So comfy. Huh? Laying down. Nope. Come on. Strider. Strider. Strider, you gotta lay down, buddy. Can't just stand on me. Can't just stand on me. Can't just stand on me. He's gonna stand on me. Oh yeah, I mean we could do amps.
What if during the unpacking process on first startup, SC also looks for and uninstalls Steam?
It could work. I
I
like
think
it.
that would be a foolproof solution.
Okay, so that didn't work, unfortunately. Okay. What if we have a number of buttons that are held down, and when someone presses a gamepad button, that won't solve the analog stick issue. That would only solve it for buttons. And tracking sticks is a bit more annoying. Strider, my dude. You gotta lay down. There you go. Drew, I'm running out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm admiring you're trying to think outside the box and alternate solutions. It's the same kind of thing I do. But sometimes it's not quite as easy as we hope.
I really wish that the SDL thing just worked.
I mean, a couple of my ideas were already said by the people in chat. I mean, this does track though. Like, things, human society is weird in that sometimes very big, awesome updates or new features, functionality happen in like a day, and that's just that simple. And other things like Rumble support in GLFW takes over 10 years and is still not here. And apparently no one knows how to do this either. It's like, you'd think there would be other people who would come across this issue and there'd be like an ongoing big forum topic about it or something. Garrett says, can we recognize the input method, then save it and ignore all other inputs for a quarter of a second?
Um, so that, so that was basically the solution that I had before. So we have a solution that works like 95% of the way. And that's basically just checking to see if the input is already pressed. And if it is, then we ignore events. Now the problem with that is that input actions are not used for typing. So you could see, like, when we were in the text box there, me pressing the B button made Steam send a space, and that space actually got appended to the text box.
Oh yeah, Ontario, let's just send an email to Valve.
Send them a strongly worded letter.
I mean, I assume they have like a help forum that they are somewhat responsive to. They're not. I mean, I know they're not garbage, or they wouldn't get gotten as far as they have.
Well, I mean, many people have reported this issue. I mean, the person that I was talking to in the LWJGL Discord, um, they said, and I quote, "You're supposed to filter out the virtual devices yourself, if I recall correctly. You could do it by gamepad name. However, it's not a gamepad. It appears to be a keyboard device. When I enumerate the gamepads, there is no virtual gamepad there. We can see that by going in here. So we get one, and that's it. And that's
So this
my
clone
controller.
input, is that like an emulated input?
Well, it's a virtual keyboard, is what I'm gathering.
Okay.
However, SDL is not telling us. It's not giving us a difference between different keyboards. So, like, they're all coming up as keyboard ID 0.
All right.
which means either virtual, which is what we're looking for, but it also means unknown, as in, I don't know what the hell this is. I can't figure it out. Now, I don't know why it can't figure it out, but there's nothing that I can do about that.
There's a inverse
Man
suggestion,
Slapper, thank
perhaps.
you for the $10 donation.
Ooh. From Arf.
From Arf. Here's an idea. Since you can't filter Steam input out, can you instead detect if Steam is running and instead filter the gamepad input so it uses Steam input? So kind of, but also that is not a good solution because Steam input gets relayed as keyboard keys. So we completely lose analog input. The analog stick gets turned into like arrow key input or whatever. And yeah, we lose analog control.
So the solution is to use Gen 1 PS1 controllers with no analog sticks.
Sure.
I know. Well, on that note, I'm gonna take a brief AFK. I've got to start baking some food.
All right, have fun. I mean,
know you
LOD
will.
did support analog if you had a controller with analog sticks. We can't do that, unfortunately, because once we get to the point of actually getting input sent to us, there's no way to tell which keyboard device it's coming from, because it's just giving me zeros for everything. Okay. There has to be a way that we can work around this. So, I'm thinking a few different things here. Yeah, we'll just start closing programs on the user's computer without their consent. No, unfortunately, I had a lead on that for detecting which device it was. So SDL has this let me get back to the keyboard event. So SDL has this event.which. So this is supposed to tell us the ID of the keyboard. And it's supposed to be 0 if it's a virtual keyboard. However, unknown is also 0, and my regular keyboard is coming up as 0. So if we add a check that says if it's virtual, then ignore it, it's also ignoring my real keyboard. And obviously that's not great. It is also very annoying. But I have an idea. So basically the issue is Steam input. So Steam registers a virtual keyboard device. And when you press a button on your controller, Steam input will relay that controller input through that virtual keyboard device as a keyboard press. So let's say that I press a button on my D-pad. See how it's actually moving my cursor right now? So that's not an IntelliJ feature. That's actually Steam doing that. If I press B, it sends a space. So that's Steam doing that. If I press A, it sends enter. So Steam is causing us to get a bunch of double inputs because of this. So like if I was to press down in a menu, it's going to go down once because my D-pad button was pressed. But then it's going to go down again because Steam sent a keyboard down arrow. And basically we've tried a bunch of different things that we found on the internet. None of it's working. And now I've moved on to the point of brainstorming hacky workarounds. So, I think what I'm going to do is in the controller button press event, we are going to... Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to have this buttons held variable. And when the user presses a button, we're going to say we're going to increment the buttons held. And when they release a button, we are going to decrement the buttons held. Now, the only issue is axes. So we need a map of which axes are held. So I think we want maybe a hash set. Because I think we need to track each of these individually. Since, use an open hash set. Yeah, see that is one option hacker done. However, we don't want the user to have to manually switch between devices. We want it to just work. That's the way a lot of games do work. And it's definitely a smoother experience for the user. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are going to this dot axes held dot add, and it's going to be axis dot, no, not dot which, axis dot axis. And then if we are not past the dead zone, this dot axes held dot remove. And now in the keyboard events, alright, Arcrid, we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, we really want them to just be able to switch back and forth between keyboard and controller. So in the key events here, we should now be able to do something like if buttons held is 0 and axes held is empty, that we want to invert this. Not 0 or not empty. Then we break. Same goes for text input. Although I'm thinking we actually only want to ignore them if it's a button press, not a button release. Or maybe we want to get slightly fancier and do something like final int set ignored buttons. So we will track that we ignored the key. Although this has scan codes as well. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. So we're gonna say this dot ignored buttons dot add. This may be completely overkill, but that is fine. Key dot key. Actually, we'll use the scan code because those are always unique. So if event dot type equals key down, then we get that. And then on the release, if type equals SDL event key up, and this dot ignored keys dot contains key dot scan code, then we remove that scan code from the ignored key list and break. So that way we only break on the key up if we broke on a key down. Give it a try. I got my controller. Moment of truth. Single input. We're not getting any doubling up at all, which was an issue with one of the other methods. It would get random doubles because sometimes they were sent over multiple frames. We are not getting any issues with the analog stick. We are also not getting any issues. The keyboard is still working. Now, just as a sanity check, let's take this and comment it out. Make sure that Steam input is actually doing the thing. Okay, so we comment that out. We are getting doubled up input. Okay, so this is doing its job. And now one more thing we definitely need to test is... Okay, we are no longer getting any issues in the text box here either. However, we should update this to work with the controller as far as moving goes. So, this should all use input actions. Action equals menu left. Menu right. Menu up. See you later, Son Goku. Thanks for stopping by. Alright. Okay, so we are now getting input here. I mean, it's not super useful having controller input in a text box, but it was kind of weird that it wasn't working before. Now it'll use the menu keybinds for that. That's cool. Alrighty. I think we have a winner. I think this is it. There's some things we need to test. Like what happens if I hold down a button and then I start pressing inputs. So this is what I was expecting. We are getting no keyboard input. So I'm holding down a button on my D-pad, I'm holding left, and I'm pressing keyboard inputs, and we are completely ignoring keyboard input. Now that is what I wanted to happen here, so that is good. But now I do want to see what happens if I hold a button here, then hold a button on the keyboard, and then while holding the button on the keyboard, I let go of the D-pad. Okay, we're getting nothing, but it does start working again after I press the button again. Okay, that's perfect. That is exactly what we wanted. And now, of course, we need to test a little bit of in-game stuff too. Performing additions, very important thing to test. Let's see if this works in battle. I have automatic additions turned on right now, so we're going to press the win button. Speed this up a little bit and go into our menu. Gameplay, edition mode normal. Okay. So, do additions work? I pressed the wrong button. Wow, hitting my right trigger counts as a click. That's crazy. And left trigger is a right click. Man, Steam, come on. That is messed up. I might actually have to do the same thing with clicking. Oh my god, the right thumbstick moves the mouse. Are you kidding me?
Wow, it sounds like you're having so much fun.
Drew, I'm using my controller right now to do this.
I mean, I like the idea of analog stick for mouse input, but that seems a bit excessive.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be so backwards? Like, hey, we're making it LOD like a true PC port to the point that you're gonna have PC-like features like mouse support, and you can use the mouse with a gamepad, which is just back to constant.
I mean, this is just Steam input though, doing this. That's not ideal. However, I think we are solving the bulk of the issues, at least. Also, chat, I added true analog input on the world map just for fun. It's completely useless. But I can move really slow now. So exciting. It looks kind of funny when you're controlling Dart because his walk animation still plays at the same speed. Let's go to the world map. I can walk very slow, but Dart still uses the same walking animation. And I am far too lazy to make it actually change the animation speed. Because I would have to write completely new code to do that, and there is a 0% chance I'm going to do it just for this. How slow can we go? Very slow. Anyway, this is completely pointless. I got here 15 minutes ago. Just to clarify, will it be Xbox controller compatible? I am using an Xbox controller right now. Dylan, you would not believe how much work it took me in TFC to get the Queen Fury Wake working properly.
But now that you have, we can do a boat racing mod crossover.
True. Yeah, so Wild to expand on that a little bit more as well. Yes, we have full support for multiple different controller types if you're using an Xbox controller. In the menus, it will even show you hotkeys for the Xbox controller. So you see here, this is my start button, which on a Xbox One controller is the 3 lines. You'll see I've got bindings for my X button here. Bindings for A, B, etc., etc. Nick, you can use the game state editor to add the characters to your party. For example, if I load up a very old save and go to the game state editor, I can add some characters to my party. So I've got Shauna now. She starts level 4, but I mean, you can edit anything for her. We could set her to level 60 if we wanted to. And now we've got a level 60 Shauna. And she's the main character. We're gonna go fight the Knight Commander as Shanna. Alright, time to get nuked by a single arrow. Yeah, you should probably run away from that 896 damage. This is very appropriate music for Monster Shauna. Watch out, he powered up. Yes, Zychronix is the creator of Dramod, and he is also one of the Severed Chains devs. Alright, well, that does seem to be working. I only half tested the edition because I accidentally clicked out with my trigger and then got completely distracted by fucking around with that. But it did seem to be working from what I tested. I'm gonna blame that on Steam input, even though I already fixed it. Oh my god, I keep pressing the triggers out of boredom. Like twiddling thumbs. I always just tap the triggers. Wow, okay, that was just bad. Anyway, it's working. Whether I'm good at additions or not is neither here nor there.
That is not what we're testing. We're not testing your skill level. Yeah, tell me about that Rod Typhoon again. We're here. Let's see it, right?
All right, let's do it.
We'll do a Rod Typhoon versus elimination. Whoever fails first is out.
Chat, I get to actually play the game like maybe once a month. When you make a video game, if you like playing video games, do not get into making video games because you'll never play a video game again.
Mm-hmm. Like all the time I've spent designing stuff could have gone to actual gaming. It's a double-edged sword.
Alright, Rod Typhoon.
Oh, you got the wrong character. That's not... I told you that's not the right character. Because his version is automatically never countered, so there's no test there. Oh my god, I can't believe... You did that on purpose.
You gotta give me a minute to remember how to do it.
You got a game state Lavitz in there. A very strong mouse.
It is. Alright, we'll put Lavitz in here.
We have multiple people in chat confirming what we're saying about if you're gonna make games, you won't play games.
Yeah, it's rough.
One of them tested for Activision.
Alright, let's just remove a couple of characters. Rod Typhoon.
Alright, let's see what you got.
Okay, I pressed the button there. What? Okay, something is going wrong. Okay, that time I was ready for a counter and No, for real. I'm pressing it at the exact right time.
That's just
try this on
convenient of you.
I'm gonna try this on keyboard. Okay, I'm still getting used to the new hotkeys on keyboard. I swear to God, I was pressing it at the exact right time there when I was doing it on keyboard or doing it on controller. Now I need to try and get used to doing it on keyboard and see if that works. Yeah, see, Garrett's saying that I was getting the white square, which is what I was saying too.
So maybe there's still an input hiccup of some kind. I don't know.
Okay, so I nailed it there. There was no counters.
Yeah. Oh, you happen to do 108 damage. What are the odds?
I think I missed that one. Okay, no, I definitely hit that. I think the counterattack code might just be broken, because I did change that with the update here. Should be under LOD mod counter. Okay. Let's take a look at this code. I think it must be broken. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the white squares there. I did have to change this code, so I'm assuming that I just broke it. Let's take a look at the diff. Okay. So correct input before was hex 20, which that should be the cross button. Let's just check that out. Joypad input, cross, yeah, cross, and circle is hex 40. Yeah, and then counter and attack is set for wrong. So here it's saying if either cross or circle is pressed, which is what we're doing here. And then here it's saying if the correct input is not pressed, or any incorrect input is pressed. Which seems to be what we're saying. Huh.
I find it a little amusing that our little fun back and forth resulted in discovering a bug.
No, Doom, I think we're filtering out the inputs. Okay, let's try something here. That didn't get marked as wrong. Okay, so this... Okay, we'll drop a breakpoint in there, I think. Oop. Okay, am I just fucking this up, or is something else fucking it up?
No clue. Zychronic says the if statement is sus.
Why is the if statement sus, Zychronics? Like, we compare it to the old code. And if you look at this, this is if either cross or circle is pressed. Oops. Which maps to this, which is cross or circle is pressed. Do this side by side. Right. So in this case, right is gonna be cross. It doesn't matter which is which. All that matters is that one is cross and one is circle, because it's an or statement. So that maps to that. Right? And then this here, this is saying if the correct button is not pressed, because this will be the correct button for... Yeah, if it's not a counter, it's going to be cross. If it is a counter, it's going to be circle. So if the correct button is not pressed, if the correct button is not pressed, or any incorrect button is pressed. Any incorrect button is pressed. Now, I did change this to just factor in the counter button because it's an issue doing any other button when we're dealing with actions like this. But anyway, if the wrong button is pressed, then we get in here. And this should be the failure. Now, unfortunately, doing this frame by frame kind of makes this a little difficult. Um, so we could chain breakpoints. Um, Make that not actually suspend. We're getting weird with the breakpoints now. Um, that shouldn't have activated. I think it only activated because it was hit before. That one I just missed. That one I pressed the wrong button entirely. So obviously it's going in there. Okay, we're in here. I may or may not have hit that at the right time. So the right button is counter. That is false. So I did press the right button. Pressing the wrong button is also false. So we are within the lower bound of the frame success. We are also within the higher bound of the success. Oh man, I just had a very unfortunate thought.
Uh-oh.
I bet they're actually reading controller input in the script.
Is that bad?
It's not the worst thing, but I'm going to have to make a change here. So we have the attack button being right in there already. If I add the counter, I've had to significantly change how scripts are able to read input, and it's now controlled by the engine state. The reason I did that is specifically because we're using these actions now that don't actually like map to PS1 buttons necessarily. Okay. So now that I have done that, I've reloaded the class. Whoops, I did not realize I scrolled over there. So we are Dragoon. We're just gonna do a couple attacks because he's only level 2. It'll be fine. Alright. I missed. No counter. I missed. It's either 0% or 100%. No
in
counter. Come on now. Come on now.
Maybe that particular creature has a low, what is it, aggression threshold or whatever.
There we go. And I hit the counter.
Okay, so that's fixed.
I'm telling you, it's either 0 or 100.
If you can just get past that first hit, that's the hardest one.
See? I missed again. I'm telling you.
See, that, so you're getting the easy counter. The hard counter is on the third press.
Oh yes, good call on checking to make sure we can fail counters. That one was intentional. That was also
Okay.
intentional. Okay.
I've got to stop for dinner for a while if you're good.
Yeah, well I think we've got Steam fixed, we just fixed counters. I think we'll probably wrap it up here, chat. We've made some very good progress, and those were two, like, the Steam input thing was one of the major blockers that I wanted to fix before we could merge this in. I think the only other thing that's, check that, it doesn't work. I fixed that, I fixed text boxes. Right. We've only got a couple of small things left here, and then I'll be getting this merged back to main, and we should be good to go. I can't think of any other issues with this new input code. And it does support Rumble now as well, which is very nice. We're bringing back Rumble. Know that we're switching off of GLFW, which they've had a ticket open for the past 10 years to implement Rumble. A bunch of people have like offered to do it, have even made pull requests that add Rumble to the framework, and it just, I don't know what the holdup is, but they just won't do Rumble. But yeah, SDL is now making its way into LWJGL, and we can switch over to that, and it supports all kinds of fun stuff that we can make use of, Rumble being amongst those things. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here tonight. So in terms of testing, I know we've got a lot of new testers in the chat here. Friday, once I'm done work, we're gonna start working with the testers to get everybody set up. Basically, give anybody a hand who needs it. It is not a difficult setup process. Basically, you just download severed chains from our website and you drop your ROMs into the ISOs folder, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. You just run the game and you're good to go. You do need to provide your own ROMs. We cannot redistribute ROMs because Sony will shut us down. Severed Chains requires ROMs because it needs to be able to extract the game assets, textures and models and things like that. Um, if we were to distribute those things ourselves, we would no longer exist. So it is what it is. We've done the best that we can to make the process as easy to get going as possible. But yeah, so Friday we'll help everybody get set up. Saturday is when the testing will actually start. I'm going to be streaming intermittently through the weekend. I'll be in voice chat. We'll have a voice chat channel specifically for testing. Anybody who's testing can pop up and chat with me and with the other testers. Um, just keep in mind that a lot of the time, if I'm there, I'm going to be streaming on YouTube. So keep it chill. Uh, yeah, the ROMs are North America only. We do not support other regions at the moment. We may in the future, but not right now. Garrett, yes, we have multiple save packs actually, with like hundreds of saves each. So just about anything that you could ever need. We got together a lot of this stuff for the last testing event that we had last year, so we'll be carrying a lot of that stuff forward. But yeah, so Saturday testing begins. We will have a big list of tasks for the most part. Anybody can just pick and choose what they want to do. We will have a few special slots for people to do like certain tasks that we don't need like a bunch of people doing, such as like playing through the entire first disc or playing through the entire game. Depending on what the interest is for those and how many people we have working on other stuff, we may have like one person per task like that, or we may allow like, three or four, depending on the interest. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, time and time zone for when it starts. I'm on Atlantic time. I'm in Eastern Canada. So it'll probably be around 4 or 5 o'clock that I will be like fully available tomorrow or on Friday for helping people get set up. For reference, it is 9:40 right now. And then on Saturday, we're just gonna kind of play it by ear. Once Drew and I are up and around, we will rally the troops and just sort of kick things off. And there's no like time constraints or anything like that for testers. It's gonna just be, for the most part, drop in and out whenever you've got the time. It's not just Saturday and Sunday that we're going to be doing this. It will continue for the next couple of weeks as needed. And once the beta test wraps up, um, we will have the option for keeping testers on or just random things that I need tested after that. So, it's not just like one and done. If you'd like, you can stick around after that. And yeah, we've always got stuff that needs testing. So yeah, I think we are going to wrap it up here. Yeah, big thanks to everybody who has tuned in tonight, and a huge thanks to everyone who signed up for the testing event. It's been a wild turnout. Like we've got, what is it, Drew? Now we've got like, I don't know. I gotta check and see how many people we've got in the testing group now. It's crazy. Give me
There's
one
a couple
second.
hundred new people in the role and almost 400 new people in the server in 36 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's see here. We have 401 people in the tester group now.
Yep.
401 people. It's gonna be a busy weekend.
Yeah. I'm really excited. This is a much bigger turnout, I think, than last time.
Yeah, you're goddamn right it is.
And this is
Uh,
just beta, not vinyl release. Like
yeah,
it's gonna only get crazier from here.
yeah.
But thank you all so much.
Yeah, so if you like what we're doing, make sure you leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. I will be streaming over the weekend at various points. My wife also does a stream on Sundays. It is her very first playthrough. She has managed to live in the same house as me for the 4+ years that I've been working on Severed Chains and knew literally nothing about the game. So she's just playing through completely blind and she's loving it. She's on the fourth disc now, so she's getting pretty close to the end of the game. But yeah, if you like watching newcomers play, then definitely tune into that. And if you really, really like what we're doing here, donation link bottom left-hand corner. You can send a one-off donation, or you can subscribe monthly for various perks. Huge thanks to everybody who's sent recent donations and all of my current monthly subscribers. You guys are all awesome. And I will be. Oh, thank you, Kateri Wild for the $10 donation. That means a lot. Really appreciate it. I will catch the testers on Friday, and I will catch anybody who is watching our streams on Saturday and Sunday. Talk to you all later.
Good night, y'all.